Hello, this is Lucille Fisher, Lori Anding King, and we welcome you to The Squeeze. We are thrilled today to welcome Sue Falcone. She is the CEO of Remarkable Speakers Bureau, which is located in Greensboro, North Carolina. And Sue, we're going to talk to Sue today about positivity and how we can move forward as business owners and also just as people, based on this pandemic. Sue has a long, wonderful career. She was an executive in corporate America and a speaker for many years, and then opened Remarkable Speakers Bureau, which is a global speakers bureau. I'm sorry. She has such enthusiasm and is a lifelong learner and really inspires me. So we're so happy to have her as our guest today. Sue, is there anything I left out?
No, I am so honored and thrilled to be here. And I bring you greetings from North Carolina. It's a little rainy today and a little stormy, but hey, we're all good.
Great. All right, we'll get going.
All right, let's get going.
All right.
So you have, we chatted yesterday, and I am just so impressed with your energy and how you can just elevate a room. How has adversity in your life helped you to succeed in the business world? Because you've definitely dealt with adversity and you seem to always find your way to the top. How do you do that?
Well, thanks for asking. We all have stories, don't we? And I've learned that my story is my story. And I didn't have the normal life that would have led to success. I just didn't. I wasn't born into it. I wasn't advocated to have it. Matter of fact, I came from a very dysfunctional, a very abusive, a very lifestyle that probably some would say, yeah, I can understand. If you made excuses for yourself and didn't do the right things because you didn't have anyone to show you what you should be doing. When you're faced every day with someone telling you'll never amount to anything, I wish I had never had you, all those kind of things, as well as not having any financial ways to succeed, I realized at a young age, and I am so glad I had mentors all through my life that helped me. And I had a grandmother. She was awesome. She couldn't take me and raise me herself, but she could always kind of be there to make sure I could at least keep moving along and had food and all those kind of things. Even though we didn't have anything, she was this inspiration because she had raised 5 children as a single mom during the Depression with little education. She was a Cherokee Indian. And so she didn't have the advantages that a lot of people had. I'm from Oklahoma. And it just wasn't happening. But she never complained. She knew she had skills. This was the thing. And she told me that I needed skills and that I could succeed, even though I was shy, scared, afraid, all those kind of things growing up. It was just amazing. But I realized from her, since she was denied education, that education was going to be the key for me. So I set out at a young age. The library was my safe place, and I still love libraries. I do a lot for libraries. I love them because there was a librarian that name of Ruth Brown, and I'll never forget her in my whole life, that encouraged me that I could be anything I wanted to be, that I could read and learn on a level that was amazing. And she taught me that I could do that, and I did it. And all through high school and all through school. Now, look, I was this shy little kid, overweight, but I had a mission of learning. And I never dated. I never did any of that because I didn't want anyone to know what kind of family I had. Really, I didn't want anyone to know, and no one really knew. I just hid it pretty well because back then you didn't say things. You didn't, things it just wasn't handled. You didn't have the help.
Right.
And so I realized that the education was key. And then when I graduated from high school, and I was one of the first in our family to ever do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a scholarship to college.
Right.
Now that had, wasn't even thought of. And I was so grateful. I didn't get to finish, but I did get that start. And I didn't always make great choices.
Mm-hmm.
Based on, I didn't have a lot of role models to understand what that, that good choice would be.
Yeah.
So I, like I said, somehow from Oklahoma, I got to Louisiana. That's how I rolled. And I got my first job with the Bell system.
Yeah.
And they saw something in me that made them want to give me training, spend money, resources, and I moved from there. And I had all mentors all the way through that. So that's kind of how I've made my journey, and I help others know that no matter what your circumstances are, just like today, right now in our world, no matter what it looks like, there is a way that you can succeed. There is a way that you can figure out and find your options and find people that will help you find those options and encourage you. I love to be an encourager. I am a #1 encourager because I know that's key. That's key.
You know what I love, Sue? They say for children who may not be in the best circumstances, that if there is 1 or 2 people who believe in them,
Mm-hmm.
that is really all they need. And, it's wonderful to hear you say that you had your grandmother who was a great role model for you. I mean, an encourager for you. And then the librarian, in your early life that really encouraged you. So I want to thank their memories that, how they held you up in those early days.
And I was able later on, when I became a speaker and I wrote a best-selling book, I was able to go back to that hometown, go back to that library. And of course, it changed a lot. Yeah. And they had a big statue of her because she helped many just like me. And they had honored her. But I was so thrilled to be able to put my book in that library so that it came full circle for me.
Yeah.
To know that I could help maybe someone else, like she helped so many people, and that was a thrill of a lifetime. That was a thrill. Of course, she had already passed away by then, but yet again, her memory was still there, and you can go and find her name. Everybody remembers her. So I wasn't the only one, but I was honored and blessed to have her in my life.
Oh, for sure. So I would like to know, what is your, what are the keys to overcoming fear, from your experience, and the fear that keeps us paralyzed, especially with what's going on today in the world? What kind of tips can you give us?
Well, like I said, my past, it was a fearful life. Because I didn't know and when I look back from my childhood till I graduated from high school, we moved 17 times. And I had no clue why. All I would know is I would come home from school and there would be boxes out and we were moving somewhere else. Little did I know later on, we just couldn't pay the rent. The circumstances and all. But somehow someone always gave us a little place to stay. So at least we had a place to stay. But so I was always fearful. I didn't have anything, I could put in a little box, all I had. So it was like, fear was always around. And then when I started in corporate America, you can imagine I hadn't dealt with that fear. All I'd done was get the education, work hard at the jobs and all, but underneath, that fear was still there.
Sure.
I could go in a room and feel so insecure, so unworthy, but I felt like to get that worthiness, I had to work hard. I flipped the switch from getting the education. Now I had to work hard, because if I worked hard, I was going to be valuable. If I worked hard, I wouldn't have to fear anymore. And, you know, I look back now, it's so funny. I had two goals when I started rising up in corporate America. I wanted to have a gold American Express card. That was my pattern of success. And a Mercedes convertible. Now I look back, you know, I'm like, well, now at least, you know, that was some goals, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I did get the gold American Express card, and I did get the access to the convertible, but I realized I still had that fear. I still had the fact that could disappear anytime.
Yeah.
And I went through life and made some bad choices and decisions, and I made some good choices and some good decisions, but I still had that nagging thing inside me of saying, okay, if I don't work more than anybody else on my job and my team and my company, then I'm not good enough. You know, so workaholic became prevalent, right? I can remember, because I transitioned into AT&T. I can remember in corporate America, I worked 100-hour work weeks.
Wow.
Now, where does that leave your family? I was raising 4 children, and now we have 5 grandchildren. So what pattern was that? You know, but that was that fear of thinking if I didn't do those things, I could lose it. And
so common. I'm not enough, you know, and that leads to the perfectionism.
oh yeah.
So how did you get over that, Sue?
Okay.
It
It took me quite a while.
Yeah.
It was not automatic. And when I finally decided that I didn't want to move one more time in my corporate career, I had been transferred to Greensboro. I had came here single, and I met the love of my life. And we now have been married almost 31 years.
Wow.
And he changed part of my thinking. And when it came up that I could, through circumstances and all, that I had a choice to either move again or transition into something else. Well, he was here, you know, and he didn't want to move. And so I said, okay, I'm going to take a risk, and I'm going to finish my career with AT&T, and I'm going to start my own business. Whoa. But can you imagine doing that still with that fear underneath? That was a challenge, because when I came home, and like we're talking today, working from home, I have been remotely located since 1998. So when I came home to do that, oh golly, the distractions, the fear level, everything just caved in, because you didn't realize your security was gone. You had to make that security.
Oh yeah, you didn't have anyone.
I had tools. Now, I had been mentored in AT&T by the best. Zig Ziglar was one of my friends. I am honored to have known him. And I reached out, and I kept in touch with those that would keep me focused in the right place. And I was always overweight. And then I decided, and I was healthy though. It wasn't I didn't have any health problems. But I decided I need to have a better health style. So I went through that. And then I decided to write a book about facing your fear, a day-by-day journey to fear-free living. Because I know that was what was part of my success level, is I had to deal with my fear. And here's the keys how to do that. You have to admit you've got the fear. That's the number one. I ran from it all through my corporate career. I did. I just ignored it. I substituted work for it. I substituted family for it. You know, I just wasn't going to let it come in. You know, but when you're facing a whole different chapter and a whole different story, it can crush you, and it can make you feel like a victim. And I see a lot of people never get over that fear of the past.
You know, Molly Daskell talks about that in her book, The Leadership Gap.
Yes.
If you don't face your fear, if you hide from your fear, it runs your life. So it's very interesting you're bringing that up. I think fear can motivate people if you just are aware of it and know how to pivot, right?
Exactly. And there's fear. I mean, some fear is good for you. You should fear things, you know, but I feared everything, you know, so you have to figure out what fear you're dealing with. Now, I write in my book, it was so funny. I had a fear of snakes from when I think I can always remember it. And I didn't live outdoors. We lived in apartments and concrete. So I didn't really experience much on the outside outdoors. I was studying and eating, remember? That's what I did, studied and ate. Yeah. So, but I knew that, and my family knew that we couldn't go to a zoo. We couldn't do anything to go look at, if there was going to be a snake around, they knew to protect mom. I couldn't even look at one in a book. I would literally pass out.
Wow.
And I'm like, so when I got to my point here of facing life and wanting to get rid of the fears, I knew that was going to be what I needed to do, even as hard. And the way I did it was, you got to get some education again. It goes back to this education thing. Mm-hmm. And also, you got to have some faith that you can do this. And a lady told me, I was out speaking, and she came up and told me, and we started talking, and I said, oh, I've got this fear of snakes. She says, you don't have to. And I'm like, well, you're not living in my skin, but that's okay, you know. And she told me to go home and get in front of my computer and look and find out all about snakes. I said, excuse me? She says, you'd be amazed. She said, they are part of our life. They're not going away. You cannot destroy every one of them. And I said, okay. No, I can't, because I don't want to. I don't even want to see them. You know? And so I took her advice, though. I came home and I said, but my first fear and thought was, okay, what if I pass out here and no one's around and I'm just going to kill myself because I'm passing out, you know, hitting my head or whatever. But I had to get over that fear to even open that computer up.
Yeah.
But I spent all afternoon, and you know what? I don't have to have one as a pet, and I don't have to see them every day, but I can go out in my yard, and if one is there, I don't have to pass out. They're more afraid of me than I am of them. And I had to learn that. So I had to trace those steps of acknowledging my fear. And by no means of me, I must have asked for help so this lady would tell me what I needed to do. So I had to get some education. And then I had to listen to that and practice it. And keep practicing it. And so eventually it will go away. And people say, well, you know, the number one fear in America, and now probably it's still that number one, because people that are either having to go back to a different lifestyle of work, or they have to start a new chapter or whatever, speaking in front of people, talking with people is the number one fear of people. It's the number one fear. Matter of fact, Jerry Seinfeld says it's even more than death, because most people would rather be dead in that casket than giving a eulogy over that casket. Okay? Think about it.
Yeah.
So with all my fears and all like this, how could I go into a speaking world? Yeah. How could I do that? Well, I had already conquered. I'm a graduate of Dale Carnegie, so I had already had the tools and the skills to know how to do it. And I'd done it successfully. in my corporate career. But here I am out by myself. You know, I'm starting a speaking career. Okay, I'm writing a book. Okay, then I've got to go talk about that. And how can I impact somebody? And why would they want to listen to me? Why would they want to?
You really stepped out of your comfort zone.
Big time. Big time. And
That's not easy to do.
it isn't. But again, it comes back to the positivity of life. When I started this journey and the education part, the other underlying part of that was I knew I needed to stay positive. Because if you do not get, and that's why I hung around and wanted to reach out. And AT&T gave me those skills to be able to be in front of people that would give you that positivity. And I clung on to it. John Maxwell, I love John Maxwell. And now I represent all these wonderful speakers that I just cling to because they give me so much encouragement so that I keep going, you know, in this journey. But you've got to have a mindset of positivity. And in today's environment, if you do not have it, I encourage everybody right here today, if you hear nothing else that we've talked about or what we're going to talk about, is find those people that are the most positive people you can be around, because you want to be around them.
I have to say, I would agree with that, because here we are, we're talking about, you know, fear, which freezes people. And we have Andrea Sanchez, who is here, AJ from Twitter, who is here. We have also Jean Bailey Robar, who says,
oh, Jean, she's one of my speakers.
So there you go. So here we have, what I notice is there's this group of people. Christy is here on Facebook, and these people are people who appreciate us and help us get through our fear. So when you have that group of people who cheer you on, not only have a positive mindset, but when you have people who back you, that's when you can really do things that you didn't think you could do. I mean, Gary Vee talks about this all the time. When you were speaking earlier, Sue, about, you know, not having an easy childhood, he talks about that. Didn't have an easy childhood, worked my ass off, you know, and he has a very positive mindset, but he also has people around him cheering him on.
Mm-hmm. Right. You have to look for those. You have to keep them around.
Yeah.
And the ones that are not, and the ones that are negative, and the ones that will tell you you'll never be able to do it, you can't, you shouldn't, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They need to be out of your life.
Right.
And, you know, say, oh, well, everybody's, you know, you're supposed to be friends with everybody. I said, you really only have those true friends that want the best for you and you want the best for them. That's where you have to decide that. And if you have involvement with those that are not like that, then what happens, you get involved in their problems and you can't move on and do the things that you need to do because they consume you. And this is where they talk about toxic relationships, all these kind of things that, you know, you've really got to take a handle on it. And see, I had to do that because, see, I was a people pleaser too, because I wanted people to like me.
Right.
Because I felt if they liked me,
yeah, you know, I know that.
And you know,
yeah, I just want to shout out. We have some other people too watching us who are very wonderful people. Wendy Leeds, she's a psychotherapist.
Hey, Wendy.
She has a wonderful podcast called Anxiety Connection. Kim Mayer, good friend, Kim Brady, and Kieran Betty Scotty. So
Yay. Great to see all of you here. This is great.
Yeah. So again. So yes, you need to decide, right?
Yes.
You know, and to keep, if we have negative, toxic people, it's not going to help us.
Right. And another thing that comes up is, I think I brought this up on another one of these live streams, was Sarah Blakely. She has a little motto that her father used to sit down in the morning before the kids went to school and said, you know, what did you fail at today? You know, so he kind of started this whole thing where yeah, have that fear, but do it anyways. And so she has that mindset. And look at her. I mean, she's got a very successful business in Spanx. So there's one thing, some people think that having a positive mindset is a weakness as a business leader. Do you agree with that or not agree with that? How do you disprove that, Sue?
That's a great question. And let me tell you, during these times, if you look out on social media, you can tell the ones you want to see and the ones you don't. Don't you? I mean, you just kind of see that, and you get that feelings and you have to realize what those are. But look, in my corporate career, I can remember one time that we had worked hard all year, done all the right things, had great results. And I went in for the yearly review, right? And we all expected, my team, everybody expected great raises, great things and all. And I was slapped with, Sue, we've decided that you are a fake and that no one can ever be as happy and positive as you are.
Yes.
And so we're not rewarding you because you really didn't contribute much.
Wow.
Well,
wow.
I wasn't really prepared for it. And matter of fact, they even told me that we would of course, I was into my career quite a while at that point. And and I didn't have any other comments that they even said about me in all these years. So anyway, I just looked at him and I said, they really suggested that maybe I needed to think about some career moves. And I'm sitting here, I came in here expecting a raise, and now I'm saying, okay, none of that. And by the way, you got to find a new job. Okay. Well, I went home, called my husband. We went out to eat. And I said, look, I'm not doing this. I'm not playing this. I'm not playing it this way. This is not going to upset me. There's going to be a way. It's going to work out. And I'm not going to literally do what they want me to do. And if they don't give me money, that's okay. I just keep working. I went back with my team and I said, we're going to work harder. All right. We're just going to do what we need to do and then I got to laughing about it. This is the thing with positivity and mindset. You got to have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. They can't even get a sense of humor here. And just like they see being positive as a leader is a weakness, not a strength. They also see, if you have a sense of humor, that you're not taking this serious enough. And I'm like, but you know what? That sense of humor, I can laugh at things and I can come up with some solutions, because that opens my mind up to get those solutions so that I can help. I can go out and find what I need to do. And also I came through that. And in 2 weeks after that little session, I'll never forget it my whole lifetime. It was in December. 2 weeks later, head of one of our big parts of our business called me. And he said, Sue, I don't know if you're interested, but I've been thinking about this for a while. And he said, I want to approach you now. He says, you've been successful all year. I've seen all the things you've done. He says, I would like for you to come and head this department in my organization. And I'm like, and then he prefaces said and also there's a considerable raise for you.
Nice.
So he didn't mind that I was positive at all.
I think the universe provides, if we're just open to listening. I think if you look at that, you needed that to happen with your current position. You needed that person to say that, which made you sit there and go, wait a minute, I can totally disagree with this person. You end up finding a job that supports who you are.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. We have to listen to the universe, and especially right now during this time frame. We've got the time. Instead of sitting and frozen like a deer in headlights, like, hey, how can this be something?
I'm busier than ever in my life, in our career. I'm to pivot from on stage to online. Okay.
Right.
So we're doing, we're learning all these talents, but I also have a basic faith that I grew up with, that I believe in God. I believe in what He has provided and given to me, and I have more blessings than I could ever imagine. And I give that credit because and people that do that in all kinds of ways, which is great. But I think you have to have that foundation to realize that there is something that you can call on, and I did. And I'm not special, because it's available to everyone. Just like choosing to have a positive mindset is available to everyone.
Correct.
It's a choice. And having a sense of humor is also a choice.
Yeah.
And, and living fear-free is also a choice. But
I love that.
and you keep going. And here's the deal. I've learned that also financially, now this comes back up to some things that we talked about, I think, earlier, and seeing what the impact, not only the health impact in our country, but also the financial impact. And remember, I thought my security was in things and what money could buy me and success. Well, when we started our business, I came home and we were very successful at it, and we've had a great journey. My husband was still in his corporate career with the post office. And so he was fixing to make some choices and decisions in his life. And I said, well, how would you like to become my CFO? I said, I want to hire
you. I would be scared right there.
And I told him, well, probably I can provide you more benefits. And he kind of laughed at that. And I thought, whatever. So he decided, now he had worked in his career for 42 years.
Yeah.
And he decided that, okay, he could come home, and he became our CFO. And it's chief fun officer too, because he likes to have fun at the number. We've learned the numbers. Now, he was not a skilled CPA, but he had education. He knew that he could find the answers, and he knew what we wanted to do. And so he learned that, and our CPA loves it. He's an excellent CFO. We know exactly. But during this journey, when we did this too, another part of our life is we became debt-free. We are Dave Ramsey people. All right. I'm sorry. That's because that's that positivity, because financially free and at peace is part of this whole thing. Facing where you're at and being positive, that not only the emotional end of it, but also the financial end of it. And today there's so many people right now listening right here that are saying, I don't know where I might get the next car payment from.
Right.
I don't know if I can even reopen my business. I don't know even if I get a loan, would that happen?
Right.
And
so what's your advice for that? Because you obviously have conquered a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah. Well, I went and I even run my business debt free. And they tell me, just like being positive is not a good leader, not a good leader strength quality. They also say, if you don't have debt and all like this with your business, you can't succeed. You can't succeed without that. And I guess I'm just this one little girl from Oklahoma that was told by my grandmother that, yes, you can. And that was a challenge to me. So when we became debt-free in our personal lives, I wanted to make sure that we did it both ways, because we found, and we even teach Financial Peace University, but we found that, because I love doing that. And we don't get anything for doing it. We just help people or get them involved online. They can do it online now. But we found if you're messy in your personal finances, you're going to be messy in your business finances, no matter how much help and all that you get. And this is proved true, because we have our oldest son is a banker. He's in the banking industry. And you would not believe, I mean, I value the stimulus and all that's happening now. I value that it's going to save some people's business, and I understand that. But it's going to be a forgiven one if they do all the right things, right?
Yes.
So you'd almost, in my little world, I wouldn't want to get there, because in my business, I always kept reserves. We always went with that plan that you have that. My staff is still being paid. I am still going on. I am not planning on quitting. Matter of fact, I put on LinkedIn the other day, I'm CEO of a company that is open, that in a few short months, we're going to be blooming and booming again. And don't offer me a job. Don't offer to buy my company. And don't call me and tell me how to retire. So those are the three, because I get them every day.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, where'd they get that idea? You know, that I'm giving up. I am not giving up, because, and I don't want anyone else, if they don't have to give up either. But again, they're going to have to face some things. They're going to have to live differently. And you do have to live on less than you make, because the key things are, you need to save first, give second, and then spend, instead of the reverse. And that was an eye opener to us. It really was. I mean, when we started tearing everything apart in our finances to see how we could make this work, we realized we're big givers. I love giving. I mean, you just ask people, they will know. I give. I love it. I don't make a big deal about it. It's just that that's who I am, and that's what I love doing. And we realized we were giving out of debt. We would give, but then when an emergency came or whatever came up in our lives, we didn't have it to cover. So we'd have to go getting some more debt. So we just had to, learn how to do those principles. They are not hard, except your lifestyle changes. It does.
A very powerful, lesson that you learned, and great advice. So you've taken that, so you're at this point, but still this huge pandemic has hit. And tell us how remarkable a speakers bureau has adapted. I mean, you're a speakers bureau. Your clients have to get up on, have to get up on stage, right? So how adapted Sue?
Well, from almost day one, when I saw, everything unfolding, and I have to look back. A lot of companies have done their best thinking that they wanted to have people working from home. Right. They've done that, but they were afraid. How do you manage people when they're at home?
So they weren't ready there again.
They weren't ready to let that go. So some people were working from home. And when this started, I looked these figures up, because I like data. I like figures, because that's my information. That's my education, right, so that I can make good choices and know all my options. Well, there was 4 million people that were remotely located. Because I say, I don't work from home. I'm remotely located. I choose not to have a storefront, but you come to my remote location and it's going to be a business environment, because that's how we run our life. That's how we do that. And, so we were prepared already to do this, because this is what we did. Right. So I look now that there's going to be more people that are going to be working from remotely located than ever, because some people have found that they do it and they love it. I love it. Now, I like going out and seeing people and all like this when we are able to do that. But in our business, then I got to thinking, okay, let me look at the event planner, our clients, the ones that hire my speakers and hire. Now I have music entertainers. I represent music as well. Remember, I told you I like to sing. And I love that. And my goal was growing up, I wanted to be a country western singer. I'm from Oklahoma, but I didn't have any encouragement, and that didn't happen. I said, see the full circle? Now I'm representing those wonderful music artists out there. So this is fun. This is great. But I realized when we started through this that for some time, virtual has been out here for speakers, trainers, and even, you've got to have video clips, and you've got to have that to even be selected by our clients to hire. Right. So I realized that, okay, when this started really going down and happening, I said, all right, this is not coming up quickly, because even when it comes back up, there's going to be some delay and then we started getting, of course, our reschedules and our cancels and all of this. So it was getting real for them out there and real for me. And I have contracts pending out there, and we don't know when they're going to happen or if or how, but I knew that virtual was going to be key, and that speakers were going to have that in their options as well as on stage. Now I have a speaker named Alfred Port, and he came up with this, and I just went with it. And now some of my speakers have gone with it too, because he gave us the option to do this. But I'm always going to give credit where credit is due. I never want to take credit for something that
that's big. I agree with you. I know Lori does too.
I want to make sure. But here's what he told us: whether you're on stage or online, you are still in person. Just like today, we are still in person. We are doing this live.
Right.
And it may not be as perfect as we've done in the past when we're on stage with everybody helping us and making us look good and all those kind of things. But we can do this because we are in person and we have something to bring to people to share. Because today, you don't really care what I look like. You don't even care. You like my new virtual background. You don't even care. It doesn't have spots all over it or whatever, But you came here, whoever's listening to this, came here to find out some good information that could help them in their lives and maybe even change their lives. And that's the key, because we bring an experience. And remarkable, our speakers bring an experience. And remarkable, our music artists bring an experience to people. And so I went with that. And I said, okay, let's see. And then I went and looked at how many of my speakers were already doing virtual. So then we just had to let people know they could do virtual, right? And I just had to change we went through some website changes to make that key so that we even created a map of the United States and shows where each one of my speakers are located. Because I said, you know what? If our clients, our potential clients, can see where our speakers are at, they could be right in their own backyard. And so that might be an easier way that they could do virtual, that they could do some still social distance, but they could matter. So we were thinking creatively. I have a staff of young people, which I love. And some of them are virtual, and some of them everybody's virtual now. But I said, I'm empowering you. Think of some creative out of the box things. So they came up with this map, and they created the map for me, which is really cute. And we're working to see if we can make it interactive so that when you open our site, it shows the map and it shows their little dots where they're at. We'd like to be able to click on those dots and then you'd see it. But you do we have where you can search for your area and you can find out where they're at. But anyway, so we put that into place. And then we decided that we'd have to upgrade everybody's page to show that they were virtual. And then we started seeing, and I told everybody, and I'm telling our whole industry, not only do you need a video clip that shows you on stage, you're going to need a video clip that shows you online. Because if you're going to give them options, this is the key thing for event planners, decision makers, and our clients that hire us. that video clip is the first thing they look at.
Smart. That's smart.
You know,
Yeah.
so now the ones that are doing that, and some of them are even upgrading their on-stage presentations to make it look current and really good, so that we can have everything current for our speakers. And we also list, they have a virtual, when they send me the virtual ones, we showcase the virtual ones, and then they're putting out there, our speakers got with it and our music artists got with it. They're updating their YouTube channels. They're bringing so much content to people that we're just having a wave to share that. And a lot of people are really converting our reschedules from on stage to virtual, which is great. So we didn't lose the contracts, you know, that way. But you have to be able to do this professionally. You have to be able to, if you're going to still keep the level of living that you're used to and that our clients are used to paying for, you've got to learn how to do that. And our speakers are doing a great job. I mean,
I think that's a really good point. I'm supposed to be in New Orleans right now for a conference, one of the biggest conferences for the industry that I work for with one of my clients. And that conference did a really good job. I mean, they ended up taking the money that people put into booths and just saying it's going to go towards the next year in hopes that, you know, they're actually going to have a in real life conference. But what they did is they switched everything virtually, and this was within weeks. You know, they had every single booth has a video, has information. I mean, they worked their rear ends off to make this as virtual as they possibly could. And I think people like you, Sue, and people like that are running this conference are the ones who are, these are the people we need to learn from, because they thought like that.
Right.
You know, and here's the other thing that I'm hearing from you on almost every single item that you have addressed with us. It's all about choice. So you can choose to sit here and freak out. You can choose to be in fear. You can choose to be just stuck. But you can also choose to, what can I do today? What is the tiny little step I can do today to make a difference, to make something, to go forward? And I think that you are a perfect example of that, that if everyone listening live, everyone listening on the replay, what can I do? What do I do that the world needs to know about? And how can I make it different to fit into the world that we're living in now?
Yeah.
Great. That is key. And I've told not only my group, but I've told others that represent people and work with clients and all like this. I said, you know what? They don't know what you're doing unless you tell them. You have to tell it the best way you can. And so you have to get out there. And someone says, well, Sue, how are you keeping business? Because people are not there. They're not answering your calls and all. I said, well, made a choice early on. This was another thing this is kind of what we do anyway. We make sure that we reach 3 clients a day. Every day I work, I have to
strategy.
3. Now that's not many. You know, that's not many. Now that means they can be my past clients, that may be my future clients. They can be who I'm working with today that I really need to do things for, or they could be a potential that's my leads followed up. And they said, Sue, I've been asked this in the last week, so I wanted to share this. They said, Sue, are you bothering people now on your lead list? And I'm like, well, not everybody has decided that they don't take calls. Not everybody has decided that they don't answer their emails. Not everybody has decided that they don't link with you on LinkedIn. You know, you need to make advantage of the tools. And I said, I'm not being inconsiderate. I'm working. And
I think,
you know, I mean, I haven't checked out, and I found news yesterday. I'm publishing an article from a group that I'm familiar with, and that they send me their information. They're a meeting planners group. So these are the kind of people that I'm involved with all the time. 83%, they say, of event planners and all like this are still working.
yeah.
Of course, we have to still put food on our plate.
I mean, it's like if you don't work now, you won't have a reopening to go to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you've got to, if you really want a business, if you really want to be in this business, you've got to keep doing that. You got to keep doing the same things that you did over and over and over, because that calms my fears.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people, I just had to practice and practice and practice to do that. But the more you do it, then it's just normal for me. And it's just normal for me to speak. It's just normal for me to do that because I've let go of what could happen. I think what's the worst,
I think the clients appreciate it when you reach out to them right now. I mean, I think everyone who owns a business needs to do that, needs to reach out. People are looking to be connected, and they appreciate that you're checking in on them. So I think that's a really wise, wise.
I'm not perfect, saying that I'm the only one that's doing this and that I'm so bragging about what I do. I just want to share that this is available, because sometimes people just don't know what they can do. And I like writing handwritten notes. Now I'm doing it safely. Okay. I have a glove on when I write it. Okay. I don't lick the envelopes. I have stickers for that, and we make sure when we go mail it that we have gloves on, so we're not spreading anything to you by sending you a note. Because someone asked me that. They said, I don't think I should send anything in the mail and all because I've touched it. And I'm like, okay, you can make this safe. Make it safe.
That's a good point that you just said, how you do that, because that came up with last week with, what was the gal's name from the little boutique? Lucille?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the butterfly tree.
Yeah, because I told her, she says, well, I do everything. I have gloves. And I said, you should video you doing this, because people need to know. They need to have the assurance. You can say you're doing this, but show them in the video how you're packaging up these cute little packages, and they will appreciate that. And there, you just illustrated the point as well.
Thank you. Yeah, that's an idea we're working on. My young staff says, Sue, you're right. You do a lot of things, and we need to feature what you're doing for all your clients and all out there more. And I said, well, I'm out there doing my job, and all my speakers, a lot of them are listening, of doing my best for them, because it's all about them. It's not necessarily about me. But again, what I do does contribute to how successful they can be from my bureau. And of course, I'm just an extension of their marketing plan. So they're out there booking themselves anyway, but I pitch in and do the best for them. So, but you're right. We need to say that more. We need to show it more.
Okay, so to wrap up, what are three things that you see we will need to change moving forward?
Well, I think these last few weeks for me, it has shown us some of the things that we needed to change, that we knew we needed to change, but just didn't take the time or effort to do it. Now, this could be personal, it could be business-wise, and it could be a nation-wise. So I think it's going to affect all of them, because it's going to be, number one, taking personal accountability. That, I think, is going to be one key, because I think there are so many people been busy. Some work 2 or 3 jobs. I mean, they do all kinds of things, or they're involved every minute of the day, and they don't have time for a lot of things. But I think they're going to, and so a lot of times their health suffers, and how they actually run their business and their home cannot be conducive to a healthy environment. So a personal accountability, I think this is the whole key about reopening our country right now, is, do we trust each other to have personal accountability? In other words, will we follow?
No.
Do we have that? And that's what they're saying. And see, it's been in business all. If they don't like you, trust, if they don't do that, they won't do business with you. So here's the deal. Are you going to make changes so that people will have that trust?
We're going to vote with our wallets. That's for sure.
I mean, well, and I think it just goes a little further than that. Even I think it's in this personal realm of you. How do you conduct your business? How do you conduct your life?
No, I'm saying that if I see you conducting your business in a way that I support, I'm gonna pay you to do, not you, but everyone. You show me this is how you do your business, that you, through this pandemic, you cared about people. You weren't a hard seller, but you still needed to make money. You have employees, you have to make money for your employees. You have to make money for your family. There's nothing wrong with that. But how you do that, there's something there.
Right.
And I want to support the businesses. I think we're good.
Yeah. And I mean, basically, Sue, it's like what Lori's saying, you show a lot of kindness and compassion and adaptability and who wouldn't want to support you?
And that's it. And I don't that's the personal accountability, because you can't be fakey at it. You can't, because people see that.
That's right.
When you're on stage, they can see whether you really mean it, you've lived it, it works.
Are you walking the talk?
So I think people
are you walking the talk?
Exactly.
And that's very obvious. And yes.
Thank you very much. But that goes back to, I think, personal accountability, then being transparent. In other words, you have to be actually doing this. And if you're not, they're going to see it, they're going to know it, and they're not sure whether they can do business with you or really want to be your friend or want to be in a relationship with you. Because, I mean, it goes all levels here. Because if you're not willing to do those things, then that's going to be. And I really, really hope that this will then bring in people wanting to be more on the positive side instead of the negative side. Because we need all kinds of people, and we deal with all kinds of people. And I love dealing with people that don't look like me, don't act like me, don't think like me, that doesn't believe like I do. I love those people. But we got to somehow have a communication here to be able to say, I love you too. Okay, let's see. How can we work these things out? And that to me is on both sides, having a positive mindset so that you're open.
Right.
To other ideas and all.
Right, that's how you expand. When you have people around you who are different, they don't look like you, they don't think like you, they don't act like you, man, your world can grow.
Exactly. And when I look for speakers to represent, and I am very blessed and honored that I'm getting more applications than ever for speakers, and I don't necessarily go out looking for speakers because they usually find me. That's one part of my business that I am very fortunate that I don't have to spend a lot of time on. So I can spend all of my time is finding clients and event planners and all that want to hire who I represent. See, so that's it. But I'm getting more and more applications every week. And I've made a commitment to our staff and to people that are willing to reach out to us and want to be represented, that we will take a look at it. But I never wanted to represent everybody in the world and have a listing of everybody in the world, because I'm a booking agency. I want people to hire who I represent, because that's the success of my business.
Absolutely.
And so I go through these applications, and I'm sure future employers now, because there's going to be a lot of people now out in the workplace, and they're going to be looking at every application that comes in to see that they want the best. And I want to be able to represent people, but I can really sometimes look at applications and see, and I have an executive team that reviews this for me, because they do all the research to make sure, everything is right, that it is just like it says. And we want a personal relationship with our speakers so that we know that this is it. Oh, Jean, yes, you're giving us this accountability. I love this, because that's the deal. It is a personal accountability. And so I want to make sure that it's real and that I represent those. So that's been amazing. So I tell everyone, when you're seeking people to help you, get business, or you're wanting to be in a company and all, make sure you look at everything. Go back and look at your LinkedIn. Look at everything you put out there, because they're looking at you.
Right. We have the time now, and they're looking.
Yeah. And since it's more competitive market, okay, it will be quite competitive, won't it? In some areas, it will. It really will. Some people are going to have to change chapters in their lives, and they may want to get into other areas, and it's going to be competitive. I am not going to sugarcoat this thing at all. It is going to be. So you need to be on top of your game.
So you are talking our language, so have a good online presence.
Social media and with marketing, this is key. And you've got to do that personally. It's not just if you have a business or whatever. It has to come from the ground up. And how I got involved here to even be here today is Lucille. I rebranded my company a few years back. And Lucille, we didn't know each other.
No, we didn't.
We didn't have a clue. And then I just met Lori. So I'm finding out all about what she does and how that works. And that's great. But Lucille helped me tremendously understand what we needed to do. And you know what? I wasn't always the willing person. Now, look, I'm not Miss Perfect at this, because there were some things that I said I would never do.
Yeah.
And people, if you're out there and you're going to have to go to a new chapter, or have to reinvent yourself, or maybe have to get your business restarted again and all like this, please never say never. Right. Because when I left AT&T, I said, I was in navy blue and blue for 30 years. I said, nope, I'm going to those bright colors. I'm getting out of navy. Well, when we rebranded, the recommendation was we had to have blue. I mean, it just works. And, I didn't want it. I said, are you sure? Now they did give me my blend of my brand that I could use some colors. So that was great. But that I was pretty good, insistent on that, wasn't I, Lucille?
Yes.
So, but I realized the value. And then in my speaker bureau, I said I wanted to be a different speaker bureau, because most speaker bureaus post the fee range of their speakers there.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that.
Right.
I didn't want to do that. I wanted them to call us, and that we wanted to show them the value and all before we ever talked about budgets. But then I realized, and this may be really helpful, not just in a speaker bureau, but in all kinds of businesses,
right,
is that if you want to be global, and this is what we are, and we're working with global clients, and we're working those things out. We can't even get there now. So virtual is going to be key important if we can do anything on that end. But is that when they're global and national clients, they already know they're going to have to pay, and they have a budget.
Right.
They don't want to waste their time.
Right.
Just call and say, okay, are they in my range, out of my range? So I had to be convinced in a marketing end that I needed to do that. So we did update that. And, those are the kind of things that you're going to have to think differently about your business as these come back to restart. You're going to have to think about, what are they looking for now?
So it's very important that you are be open to change and to be adaptable. And I think those are really key takeaways from our conversation today, Sue. That, you have always been adaptable. You're a lifelong learner, and you embrace change. That is tremendously powerful. And, I think that what you have given us today is such good advice and such a great example. So it's been marvelous, really.
Yeah, the time has gone by quickly.
Oh, wow. Are we finished?
Wrap it up.
I told myself I'm a storyteller, just like most of my speakers are. That's why people want to stay around us, because we want to be able to tell you exactly personally how we've experienced that and how it works, because that is key. I mean, that is, or show some other stories that can see that so they can go back and look there and, be there. And today we're so excited. We're launching our new update finally of our YouTube channel. So it has taken us a time to get that right, to be able to showcase. So that's going to be a great adventure for us later today to be able to celebrate that. So there's always things that you can do and celebrate and have fun at it, but change is key.
Yes.
And technology was not my thing. I can tell you this. When speakers had to go start doing the PowerPoints and have the little clickers and you click your slides and all, that's scary, because you're not thinking.
But you did it. You did it. And
you did it. You had the perseverance to do it.
Well, I don't want to, but you have to know the value of why you're doing it, so that, and make that choice. You brought that up earlier. It is a choice.
Sure.
Personal accountability is a choice.
Right.
All those kind of things we've talked about today, the 3 keys: personal accountability, being able to adapt and change. These are all choices.
Yes.
And you can't legislate that to somebody. You can't mandate it to somebody. They have to make that choice.
They have to make that choice. Yeah. So I'm gonna use this as my segue, because we are over time and it has been fantastic talking to you.
Maybe we'll do it again sometime.
Yeah, but on that note about, you can't legislate and you can't mandate it. They have to make a choice. That is one of the reasons why we started the squeeze, is because we felt that the middle class was getting squeezed and we were having these conversations that we thought everybody could benefit from. And talking to you is a perfect example. Talking to you about how you pivoted, how you dealt with some adversity, and how you're dealing with the pandemic was, I think, very helpful to our audience, whether they're listening live or on the replay. So we invite you to vote. If you aren't a voting citizen, please register to vote, because this whole world, the way it's coming out, is due to who we vote into office, from local, state, and federal level. So vote, vote, vote. Right, Lucille?
Yes. That everyone has a voice. We all need to participate. There's a great quote: "Democracy is not a spectator sport." So anyway,
that's that personal accountability.
Yeah, you betcha.
I mean, it really is. And it's a privilege that we have that we don't want to give up.
Every single one of us, right? You're right.
Every life matters. All of us matter.
We all matter.
All of us matters.
Yes, I mean, it really does. And, I just thank you for having me today, and this was great. And y'all are just doing a great, great service to many, many businesses out there and many people, because they need this. They need time to be able to say what they want, and ask questions. And I've certainly would love to hear from anyone. I'm available. So we just are going to have a remarkable week. I hope everybody has a remarkable weekend coming up.
Yes.
And, you've just got to go for those things and find it. And we're ready, I can assure you, to bloom and boom. And we're going to do that.
I love that. Bloom and boom. That's great. All right. Thank you so much, Sue.
You're welcome.
This was fabulous. Lori, see you.
Great to see you. Y'all are fabulous for people too. So this is it. Great resources.
Yeah. Take care.
You too. Bye.
All right. Oh.